In a recent interview with Mike Aquilina, I asked if he had any parenting advice. He gave the most unique tip on greeting your child's guardian angel. I invite you to hear Mike Aquilina's thoughts and stay tuned as I unpack it after.
Another thing that I found extremely helpful, and maybe most helpful to me, um, is devotion to the guardian angels. The sure knowledge that my children and my grandchildren, each of them has a guardian angel, and that guardian angel is working for that child's good. Okay, so if I work with that angel, I'm more likely to communicate. What does angel mean? Angelos in Greek. It means messenger. Angels are all about communications. They want us to communicate effectively. They want us to get our message across, and they're expert at that, and they'll help us to do that. So, when I'm dealing with my children, when I'm dealing with my wife, when I'm dealing with my grandchildren, I always begin by greeting the guardian angel of that particular person and then moving on from there. Um, I didn't grow up with that practice. Uh, it, it, uh, it was my confessor 30 years ago who introduced me to it,
Wow.
because he always heard me complaining about how willful my son was. And he heard me make the same confession week after week after week, and really what I was doing was making my son's confession, because I'd tell him, uh, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been a week since my last confession, and here's how many times I was wrathful, and here's why. And then I'd tell him whatever my kid did, right? And finally, after a couple of weeks of this, he said to me, Mike, I want you to try something. Whenever your son walks into the room, before you greet your son, greet his guardian angel, because then it's 3 against 1.
Yes.
It's you and your guardian angel and his guardian angel, but you're not working against him. You're working for him. You're going to get him to heaven. And that was revolutionary for me. It really changed all of my human interactions afterward, because I made that a practice, not only from my dealings with my son, but for my dealings with my coworkers. At that time, I was working in the tech field. I had a lot of people working for me. I was a corporation with a bloated bureaucracy, so I had a lot of people above me too. But I learned to greet their guardian angels, and it changed the way I looked at them, because there's a psychological thing it does. It focuses you on the eternal from the moment you begin your conversation, rather than thinking of them in instrumental terms. What good am I going to get out of this? How am I going to strategize this conversation? No, you were just leaving it to the guardian angels, and you were following their leads, and doing everything, with eternity in mind. So there were just a lot of reasons why that was helpful to me.
Wow.
It seems like the most helpful advice I've ever received. That's the kind of power you guys have in the confessional. That confession just changed my life ever afterward. Now, when I get to judgment, I may find out that other advice and other practices were actually more helpful. But for me, that's the thing that's given me the most in terms of visible results.
Wow. Yeah, that's just if people are confused, like how do you greet? It might be self-explanatory, but how do you greet someone's guardian angel? Is there a way you go about it, Mike?
Well, my confessor said, silently in your heart, silently in your heart. And I think of it as the kind of communication I have with my wife. We've been married now for 36 years. So we kind of know each other's thoughts and everything. So, when you're in a room and maybe separated by several feet, um, and in between you is a teenager having some kind of meltdown, right? My wife can look at me and raise her eyebrow and communicate more with the raising of that eyebrow than my next door neighbor can communicate with me in 3 days of talking, right? And our communication with the guardian angel is something similar to that, because this angel has been with us since our conception, guarding us and guiding us. And if we've cultivated that devotion, over time, we feel that intimacy with our guardian angel. We in a sense, we know what he knows. We're more aware of it because we've been aware of it for a longer time. So I can't say enough for this practice. It's been very helpful to me. It's been very helpful to many Christians for 2,000 years, and then for many Jews and people of Israel for millennia before that.
I when I met Monsignor John Esseff, and he met Padre Pio, and Padre Pio said, whenever you're struggling in the confessional for advice, just get your guardian angel to speak with my guardian angel. We'll help you out. So I was like, when I heard that advice, I was pretty blown away at that.
Yeah, yeah.
The level
It's
of
real. It works.
The passion and conviction that Mike Aquilina has about the power of guardian angels interceding for us is really inspiring. By the simple practice of acknowledging the presence of your guardian angel and your child's guardian angel and asking them, in whatever words you want to choose, to help you out in that difficult situation, you start to see with the eyes of faith. You lift your minds and hearts in a mode of prayer in which you realize that there's a greater work at play. There's a battle at work that is far greater than what we see with our eyes. There's a spiritual war taking place, and getting both of our guardian angels to work together for the good is such fantastic advice. I invite you to try it out the next time you have a difficult conversation, and comment below if you find any success. God bless.